Welcome to the Thinking Green News Moment. I'm Chris Schneider, and my guest today is Amelia Baxter from Driftless Farm. Welcome, Amelia.
Thanks. Hi.
We're here to talk about community-supported agriculture, and you've brought some with us.
Yeah.
Excellent. What have you got here today?
Well, I wanted to show just a small, tiny portion of what's available still in our region, and this is some of what was in the last boxes of Driftless Farm's community-supported agriculture program: leeks, Brussels sprouts, purple Brussels sprouts, which is a unique variety, kale, garlic, and this is just a small portion of what's available through the fall.
Green
here.
stuff this time of the year.
Yeah, green stuff this time. This stuff's very cold hardy. It does really well. It tastes especially delicious after the frost. These are things you wouldn't really know if you weren't buying from a farm around here, because just the difference between a kale or a broccoli after the frost, it's just there's this sugar that shoots up through the roots and into its fibers, and it's a very different experience eating locally that way.
So this produce will be available until when?
Well, it's available at our farm for those who are members. Through the end of December, we generally still have greens because of our greenhouse.
And how long have you been a community-supported agricultural farm?
Well, I've been working with CSA Farms for 10 years and started Driftless Farm 2 years ago when I moved to the region. And this last year was our first year with members, and it went really well.
So how many members do you have?
We're small, and we just started out with 30. And we're going to continue to grow that each year, and it's going well.
Define CSA.
A community-supported agriculture farm is a farm, a small or medium-sized farm, in which individuals and families buy shares into the farm at the beginning of the season and then receive weekly boxes of fresh vegetables from that farm. That way the farmer knows where their capital is coming from throughout the season, and the family knows where their food's coming from.
Now, what are the environmental benefits of community-supported agriculture?
Well, let me describe. Community-supported agriculture is a model of farming that started in the 80s. Can I go into that a little bit?
Absolutely.
When farms in our country started to get bigger and bigger, and there was this understanding that if you didn't get bigger and have a lot of machines and use a lot of acreage, you had to get out. Get bigger, get out. And communities started to recognize that without local farms, their environment was getting hurt. There was more chemicals in their water, more pesticides, fertilizers. Their rural development was falling behind because there was less jobs in farming. And their quality of life and the taste of their food was going down. And so they started to say, wait a minute, what can we do to keep our small farms in business so that we can eat locally? And they created this model with farmers in which communities will pay a share in the beginning of the season when the farmer really needs capital, and the farmer then can buy their seeds, their manures, their labor force, and provide share returns weekly for the community. And so an individual or a family buys into our farm at the beginning of the season, and they receive weekly boxes, large weekly boxes that are a value of organic food far superior than what you get in the store.
Now, oftentimes when we think about local foods, we focus on the produce, the vegetables, and you were mentioning meats and eggs. And so tell us about that part of community-supported agriculture.
Yeah, I usually preface that by saying, in my opinion, of all the sort of green things we can do in this world, joining the local eating movement is one of the most delicious and fun. It's one of these things you can do to tweak your lifestyle and make it greener, and yet have such a richer, more varied diet, a healthier, more delicious diet than you could have imagined. So when you start looking around the Vernon County and La Crosse County region or I should just say around all of La Crosse area, because Minnesota has amazing farms too, you start to see that you could be planning a menu 365 days a year of unique, delicious varieties of food, from lamb to turkey to poultry, and all of it knowing that none of it has been used. There are no chemicals in that food. That means that there's no chemicals for you and your family, and that also means that there's that the land around these farms is being maintained and cared for.
So what websites would you suggest that viewers look at?
www.localharvest.org tells what CSAs and what farms exist in all the regions in the country for buying locally.
Does Driftless Farm have a website?
Driftless Farm's getting a website this winter. So hopefully by the end of the winter there'll be a Driftless Farm website. But if you go to localharvest.org, you'll be directed to our farm.
Well, thank you, Amelia. This is Chris Schneider with the Thinking Green News Moment.